Welcome back to the Kyle Olson Show. Conservatives have been losing the war in our media, our schools, and entertainment for years. And now, of course, social media companies are silencing voices that are contrary to their progressive agenda. But some conservatives are creating solutions. Antonio Sabato Jr. is leading an effort to create a film studio for projects reflecting classic American values, unlike what comes out of Hollywood today. He joins me now. So, Antonio, first, tell me your vision for this.
My vision is to leave entertainment to entertainment, whatever there may be. And for us, there's a lot of people in this country, Americans, patriots, who love this nation. And they want to keep making movies about this country. They want to keep making movies about our law enforcement, our military, and political things, maybe historical, whatever it may be. But I'm patriotic, and so is a lot of other people. And we take pride in our country. So movies have always been part of this nation from the beginning of, since the beginning of movie making, really, in this country. And we want to keep it going. And we're proud Americans. And there's a lot of people who feel that they can't really be themselves in Hollywood anymore. They can't wear their Christian crosses if they may choose to do that, or maybe their political reason might be different. But, we used to be in a place where we used to be able to discuss and talk about things. I used to live in Hollywood. I live in Florida right now. But listen, back in the 80s and 90s, it was a different story. You could have discussions about political things. It wasn't always the best discussions, but at least you can walk away as friends. But right now, there's this evil about everything else that the fake media and everything else on the far left is trying to spill. And they've gotten a lot of people, whether they're paying them or whatever the propaganda is, they know what they're doing. And they're creating a lot of chaos in this nation that didn't need it to be created. After all, we've been going through a lot of other stuff, right, with the epidemic and everything else. So, but I want to keep Hollywood intact and patriotic. And that's why I started this studio. That's why I'm raising as much money as I can to keep making pictures that support, like I said, our law enforcement, our flag, and our military, so much more. So that's what we're fighting for.
What do you see as the potential for this effort?
Well, we have to come together. I hear a lot of Christians wanting to go to the next level. They're taking our churches away. They're taking our Bibles away. They're taking away of speech, in every way, really. And right now we have to come together. The church has to do more. Christians have to do more. Patriots have to do more. There's a lot of people in California who are running for political seats, and they're all left alone. Nobody's helping them. There's a lot of liberal states that, because of the situation, because they're so run down by the liberals and the far left Democrats, that they don't even want to donate any money. They don't want to even support these candidates. And, if we don't win the Congress, if we don't win the House, the House and the Senate and everything else that we need to do, I'm sorry to say, these people on the far left, they're going to keep going far left, and they're going to get to a place with no return, which I think we're already there now.
This is something I've never understood. There's a huge market of conservative consumers who will watch, buy, recommend conservative content. It seems like an obvious business opportunity to me, and yet Hollywood will not make content for us. Why do you think that is?
Well, they hate God. They hate rules. They hate any guidance, if you think about it. I mean, we talk about, helping the world, and liberals are always the first one to step out and say, let's donate, let's get money involved, let's help every country in the world. But look at their neighborhoods, look at their homeless situation, look at the addiction, drug addiction, and everything else that's been going on in this country. One way they say, oh, let's help everybody else, but let's forget about our own people. And Hollywood, for some reason, in the beginning, if you look in the 40s and 50s, the presidents of these studios, they were patriotic.
Mm-hmm.
They loved our country. They made movies about our country, and they loved our flag, and they took pride in saying, you know what, I'm an American. Warner Brothers, Universal, all these studios in the beginning of time, they used to be a lot different. They used to support our country. Now they don't. And you ask me why they don't, is because, like I said, there's been this thing about changing the rule of law, changing the way this country stands above everybody else in the world. Because if it wasn't for the United States and the help that this country has done for everyone, the world would be a much worse place, right? So they want to control. They want to control the distribution of movies. They want to control the content of the films. They want to be peace, love, and everybody else. But if I love my country, if I love our officers who are risking their lives every single day, I want to make movies about that. I can't do it. They won't allow allow me to do it anymore. So that's where we have to come together, and we have to, you got to call me up. You got to get together with me, because this is happening right now, and we're going to make it happen, because you have no idea how many people I have been contacted from makeup artists and electricians and carpenters and actors and producers and executives. I mean, you name it, all across the board of the entertainment world, saying, we want to come work for you. We heard about what you're doing. We're sick of this. I can't come to work. I can't do this. I can't do that. It's crazy.
When did this shift in Hollywood happen?
It's always been going on. I mean, I think Obama years, it really got into a whole different ball game, and then it gotten worse from that point on. And then we have a president now who's fighting the fight, who's telling the left, who's telling the snakes and all this evil to the left. He's telling them to their face, I know who you are, and I'm going to tell the American people who you are. And now they know. And that's what they're fighting with, lies. They fight back with aggression and breaking and burning and stealing and all that other stuff, because they can't deal with the truth. And the truth hurts. And this guy, our president, I believe he was put there by the Lord upstairs and said, listen, you might not be a perfect politician, but the American people don't need a perfect politician. They need an American citizen who's proud of this country and says, enough is enough. And we need to put it back on to number one. That's what he's been doing.
Now, it's one thing to finance and produce conservative projects, but it's another thing to get them distributed. How are you addressing that?
Well, it's funny enough, right now we're in a good place. The distribution companies are needing of content. So right now they have no choice by working with me. So because they need content. And at the end of the day, if you give them something that is good, produced right, directed, and well acted in and everything else, well, take a chance at it. The only problem is that a lot of the Christian films, base Christian films, have been done to a particular audience or a particular network in this particular box. Instead of making an entertainment film that might have content about Jesus Christ, it might have content about, police, whatever it may be, but we don't want to put it in these, Christian films are Christian, but a regular film is a regular film. I don't believe that. I think there's a message in every single film you make. And if you put it, and there's a place for those films in the Christian world. But what I want to do is I want to make films about Christianity, about my faith, about Jesus, about so many other things in that world. I also want to make films about, like I said, about our Navy SEALs. I have great stories and great characters and people that I've known in the military that have great content. Westerns like Trailblazers, which I'm producing, directing now. So I'm sick of waiting for Hollywood to stop this nonsense. So I started my own thing.
So what's your biggest need, and how can people get involved?
Well, the biggest need is the right partner. I have people offering money, giving us, options, we'll give you this much money. We'll take this back in return and all that. That was done back in the day, contracts and business contracts and all that stuff, which we're going to do, but I work in a different way. I like to work with the men upstairs. I'm more of a spiritual kind of, how can you help? You can help by contacting me on Instagram, which is the easiest way. Just send me a message there. If you're really serious and you have the money and you want to invest, because this is an investment. Let's put it that way. An investment in a business. Conflict Studios, which is conservative studios, will be there to protect the future of entertainment for conservative people, for people that are not willing to say, oh, you got to be in this box. I was asked the other day if a Democrat with different beliefs that I have wants to work for me. I'm like, yeah, come work for us. We're making entertainment. We want to make entertainment, and we want to make entertainment that it's appropriate and it's protected for the American people, for patriots, and ultimately for the best for our country.
Antonio Sabato Jr., thanks for joining me today.
Thank you very much. God bless.
This is the Kyle Olson Show. We'll be right back.